Welcome back, YouTube. It's the end of Season 1 here at Worksop Town in non-league to Premier League. Let's have a look how we've got on Football Manager 26. Final game of the season was a pretty uneventful affair with a 1-0 win from a set piece from the greatest player to ever play non-league football, Martin Woods, popping it onto the head of Bailey Gouda for a 1-0 win against South Shields. We weathered the storm, ended up going very defensive for the last 10 minutes of the game, and they absolutely puzzled us, but we held out for a 1-0 win, which sees the most unlikely of promotions for Worksop Town into the National League. Absolutely buzzing. And I'd have snapped your hand off if you offered me that at the start of the season. So now the hard work starts. We've got to pick through the players, see who we want to keep, see who we're going to let go, and pretty much do a full rebuild, I would think, if we have any chance of staying up in the National League. So hopefully you come back and join me for the start of Season 2 and see what transfer business we've done. As you can see then, really good finish to the season. Beat Chester and Darlington to get into the playoff final and then beat South Shields 1-0. Quite a good defensive record towards the end of the season. And if we look a little bit further back, there was a bad run of form towards the end of December and into January, and that coincided with a quite substantial turnover in playing staff, which I'll now show you. We'll start with the transfers out then. Kai Williams left us, and look at his average rating. It was stinking the gaff out for me. I couldn't get a tune out of him at all, but he really turned it on for them. I don't know if they've been playing him up front instead of out wide left, but 7.7 average rating, which is night and day compared to what we had from him. Che Whitman-Brown, I didn't want him to go. Bury came in with a contract offer. I offered him a new contract to stay. He didn't accept it and went off to Bury, so I was a bit disappointed with him going. The only notable ones are Jordan Burrow and Joe Leasley. Those guys I decided to sell because their physicals were absolutely plummeting. So I just decided to get them off the wage bill. Jordan Burrow hadn't scored for about 10 games either, so I just got rid of him. And it freed up about £700 in wages. So we decided to sign as a replacement for Che Whitman-Brown. I got Corey Andrews in. He came up on the scout reports, just a pace merchant, very similar to Che, only 10 years older. Brought him in as a direct replacement for him. Started off really slowly and then picked up towards the end of the season. I think he had 1 goal in 6 games to start with. And then towards the end really picked up. Joe Duffy, brought him in a right-sided central midfielder. Keon Lewis Burgess, he got a broken leg and was out for 3 to 4 months. So this guy was on my scout reports and I just decided to sign him as a permanent signing. I think he's good enough to play in the league above. So I put an offer in of $550 a week and he accepted it. So we'll see if he re-signs on because his contract's expired now at the end of the season. Hopefully we can keep him. And then the last main signing was Rob Layton, who you may recognise from Welcome to Wrexham, and the first series of that he was Wrexham's goalkeeper. Signed him on a deal to play next season. As you can see, he's only on 220 quid, so it seemed like a no-brainer really. He's better than Tommy Taylor, and I thought at worst case he'll be a good backup for next season if we can just alter his playing time. And that was it for the transfers in and out. Quick look at the standout performers then. Goals and assists we'll quickly look at. So Liam Hughes, top scorer, out of contract. I think I'm going to offer him a contract if he'll stay as a rotation option. If he wants to be a regular starter or he wants mega money, I'm not going to keep him. Aaron Martin, he hasn't scored since his pace started plummeting, so he's going to go. Martin Woods, my favourite player of the save so far. He only scores worldies. He's absolutely mint. Pretty much one of the reasons we got promoted really. Popped up with really important goals for us and assists and assisted that goal against South Shields there in the playoff final. So a shame to see him go, but at 40-year-old with 5 for pace, I just don't think we can keep him really. he's going to struggle massively in the league above. If he wants to be a staff member, I'll keep him as a staff member for the entirety of the save, but we'll see what he wants to do. Dan Bramall with 20 assists. He either gets 8 or a 9 out of 10 or a 6. Really weird player, but he's staying with us for next season. He's already signed a contract, so we're happy to keep him. What would you guys do with Luke Waterfall? I don't know what to do with him. I think I'd like to keep him, but his pace is plummeting, and I think he's going to struggle in the league above if it drops any lower than what it is already. So would you guys keep him for another season? I think I'm edging towards offering him a contract if he'll drop down to a rotation option and stay on similar money. And then Lewis Whitman, the other standout player with 17 assists, I've offered him a new contract, £575 a week for next season. And that's it for goals and assists. I'm going to quickly take you through how I'm planning on improving the team next season. So how would you look for new transfers and new players for the team next season? I'm going to take a data-led approach for this save, and I'm going to look at, for centre-backs for example, Luke Waterfall. If I'm thinking about replacing him, I will be flicking through this league, the National League North and the National League South as well. I'll look through there, and I'm going to look for players who have won more headers per 90 than Luke has, more interceptions, and then better progressive passes. That's basically how I'm going to target players. So that's what we're going to look at for centre-backs. I'll show you how we're going to do it for centre-mids. We're going to be looking at possession 1, I would think, per 90. Where's my best performing centre-back? Lo and behold, it's Martin Woods. So we're going to be looking for players to replace him. So better possession 1, progressive passes of 6.6. So anybody who can beat that, I'm not too fussed about their attributes. I'm looking at the performance data. I'm going to look at targeting players who can beat those numbers. And then for centre forwards, as we're getting the ball out wide and getting headers in the box, Liam Hughes there. Where are we at? Headers 1 per 90 for Liam Hughes, 4. So we're looking at someone who's got 4 or better. And then shots on target per 90, 1.5. We'll be flicking through the league and seeing if we can find people who have better statistical data than that. And that's literally how I'm going to do it. Moneyball approach over attributes. Let me know how you're building your squad for next season, and hopefully you guys come back to see who we've brought in and how they perform for us. Can they keep us up in the league next season using this approach rather than an attribute approach? Let me know how you're doing it. Let me know how you think I'm going to get on next season, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video.